Now going to talk about this year's Ventura Music Festival, which is a terrific event every year, and this year it also ventures into Camarillo. One of the events, one of the concerts will be at the Camarillo Community Church, and we'll talk about that with Nuvi Mehta, who's the director, the musical director, artistic director, and Cheryl Heitmann, who's the executive director. Welcome.
Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So before we jump into the real specifics of this year's festival, tell us what the Ventura Music Festival is, how it got started, and what your goal is, and some specifics on that.
It was started in 1994. The city of Ventura wanted to develop a cultural arts plan, and they decided they would like to have a signature cultural event in the city. And so they actually came up with the idea of a music festival and actually provided the initial seed money for the festival and got it started. We're completely independent nonprofit now, but they did have that beginning vision. So that, and it's been expanded. It started with, actually it's kind of remained with the 10 days span, and we do program many different kinds of programming. Now it started with just chamber music.
Did they start out as a 10-day event like that?
It did.
Pretty adventurous.
Wow.
It was very adventurous, yeah.
And so this year the dates are April 28th through May 7th?
Correct.
You guys have a great brochure too.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's take a look at this year's lineup. It's quite impressive. Would one of you like to talk about it? We have one of our performers with us this evening.
Sure, I'd love to. We've got an international group of artists coming from all around the world. We have all different kinds of music, obviously. We have jazz, we have a great headliner, Chris Bodie is coming back. He was actually here 2 years ago, coming back again. And we have chamber music, we have orchestra, we have soloists. We always have tremendous pianists. So if you have piano fans, we have an association with the Cleveland International Piano Competition, which is one of the handful of largest piano competitions in the world. And also, we started with the Van Cliburn competition also last year. So we actually have a winner from both of those competitions coming during the festival. We have on Tuesday, we have Martina, Tuesday the 3rd, I think.
Yeah,
we have,
it is. May 3rd.
We have the winner of the Cleveland Piano Competition, Martina Filiak, who has won many competitions. She's won the Viotti competition, she's won the Busoni competition. These are all fairly large international competitions.
And a prodigy she is.
She is. She's from Croatia, and actually had kind of a tough time. I mean, actually, she tells stories about years when they spent time in bomb shelters, large portions of their seasons in bomb shelters during the war. Wow. And now she has won the Cleveland Piano Competition, so she's performing all over the world. She's bringing us an incredible program of some of the most... Actually, she's playing... One of the pieces she's playing on her program is Islame, by the Russian composer Balakirev. And this piece has sort of been labeled the most difficult of all piano works. I don't know whether it is or not, but it sort of has that reputation down over the years. In fact, other composers have tried to write very difficult pieces, and they have said they were trying to write pieces that would be more difficult than that piece. Wow. So she's put that as the sort of the capstone, but she's got Prokofiev and Bartok and Brahms and Chopin. Wonderful program. We also have returning the silver medalist from the Van Cliburn competition, Yaram Son, Korean. She performed with us last year, and her recital really brought down the house, and it's by popular demand. You know, sometimes we have an artist come, just captures the imagination of everyone who attends the concert, and we try to bring them back immediately the next year because people really... Now they didn't get to go see that concert, now they want to hear her.
Word of mouth, people are saying.
Yeah, so she's coming back and she's playing, what is she playing? She's playing Tchaikovsky. There's also a whole chamber music concert on that concert. I'll be performing on that concert as well. We're doing the big Brahms Piano Quartet No. 1 in G minor. That has the Gypsy Rondo. It's a pretty famous classical piece.
And that's May 6th. That's Friday night, May 6th.
That's Friday, May 6th.
At Ventura Missionary.
At Ventura Missionary. And we're also doing the Kodai Duo, and I'm joined by a wonderful violist who was in the Cleveland Quartet and directs the chamber music program at Rice in Houston. And also Andrew Schulman is the cellist, internationally known cellist, is the principal of the LA Chamber Orchestra currently. And So that's going to be a wonderful program as well. We have a Rising Stars program every year. Young artists.
Young people.
Very young.
Who are really opening the doors in their careers. We try to keep a Southern California local connection with that, which we have done this year. We have 2 artists. They're both Southern California natives. One of them is from Oak Park, right here.
Right.
And they're both, Sean Chen is from Oak Park. He has just graduated from Juilliard, and he'll be coming back into town. He has performed with us before. He's performed in the area many times. He's pretty well known here. And the other is a young girl named Valerie Kim. She's 13 years old. She is in the Juilliard pre-college. She's from...
Juilliard, that's the best you could do?
She's from... she's from Orange County, and she's actually a double major at Juilliard, which is unusual in performance, that she is pursuing both piano and violin, both. And she will be coming and performing as a violinist. Her sister, also at Juilliard, also a double major, is coming to accompany her as a pianist, but she's also a flute player. So that's going to be a very interesting program.
Underachieving family, isn't it?
Really?
Yeah, you know. It's,
Wow.
and then we have the very interesting concert is the concert that's going to take place here in Camarillo, which is...
Let's pump that up. Here we go. Pumping up Camarillo. That's at Camarillo Community Church on the April 29th.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's exciting for 2 principal reasons. First of all, we are giving the U.S. premiere of a piano concerto by one of the most famous composers in history, Felix Mendelssohn. Now, how could we be giving a premiere of a Felix Mendelssohn work when everybody knows Mendelssohn? Because this piece was discovered recently. Not that recently, actually. People knew where this music was, but it took Roberto Proceda to really champion this piece. Usually when you find a piece of music that the composer never published or it's not finished, it wasn't the composer's favorite work. It's not particularly necessarily one of their best. This is a very good piece. 2 of them were completed by Mendelssohn. He had written out the melody for the final movement. And Roberto Proceda found a composer to finish that 3rd movement and to put the orchestrations behind the other movements based on the way Mendelssohn had it sketched. And it is absolutely a Mendelssohn piano concerto.
Wow,
you
amazing.
think you're listening to the next one in the sequence of his other 2 piano concerti. It's a wonderful piece. And Roberto Proceda will be coming from Italy to give the U.S. premiere of that piece here. It's been premiered in other countries. I think it's had its premiere in about 10 other countries. Decca has done a recording with the Leipzig Gewandhaus Orchestra with Roberto performing it. But it hasn't been performed here.
Yeah.
And this is Friday, April 29th at 8 o'clock at Camarillo Community
Right.
Church.
That's right.
Yeah. And then there's one of the artists who's Mark O'Connor, who's a great violinist, but on the other side he's also an amazing, if you want to call him a fiddle player.
Yeah, he is.
And there was a group way back when, Dixie Dregs, which was a great rock instrumental group that I used to listen to, and he played with them for a while. It's amazing the number of stars that you, big time performers are going to be here. Let's take a look at some of the photos of some of the. So are you kind of looking at sort of Chris Body, Botti? I always make sure that is he sort of looked on as the headliner for this year's show in a sense?
We usually have a couple of headliners. One is usually in the jazz. So we have jazz headliners.
That's Chris
Okay.
Body.
Last year, Herbie Hancock filled that slot for us. And we usually also have a headliner on the classical side. This year for us it is the premiere of that Mendelssohn that we were speaking of, that concert. This is Yadom Son, the silver medalist of the Van Cliburn competition. Absolutely wonderful pianist, one of my favorite young pianists today. I'm so delighted to be able to work with her coming up here. Very excited about that. She's a terrific chamber music player.
Mark O'Connor.
Mark O'Connor. Mark O'Connor, who is really just one of the most brilliant artists. I have to tell you a story about when I first encountered his music. We'll go through these pictures, but that is Roberto Proceda.
And he'll be in Camarillo.
And he will be in Camarillo, yes, playing Mendelssohn. And on that concert, and this is Roby Lakatosh, whom I hadn't mentioned. He is the premier gypsy violinist in the world today. He is a 7th generation descendant of the great gypsy violinists, one of the greatest in that tradition from Hungary. They have a way of playing the violin that is just almost something that they pass down. It's like what our kids are good at or something. You know, there was a tradition there in Romania and Hungary in the gypsy tradition of violin playing that was at such a high level that when his, I don't remember if it's his great uncle or his grandfather, his father, would perform, all of the classical violinists famous in the world who were nearby, Heifetz and Milstein and Oistrakh, famous violinists, would flood their concerts. He didn't give many concerts, but he just had such an incredible way of playing. It was unbelievable. I mean, they would just sit there agog. He would play the most difficult pieces, also classical pieces, and he would embellish and make them more difficult. Wow. Wonderful playing, and that tradition has filtered down in here, and now Roby takes it around the world. He's turned it into a huge act. And
it's too bad you don't have enough of a passion for this.
Well, I grew up I'm a violinist, and I grew up listening to Sándor Lakatos and thinking to myself,
it's amazing the passion you have. We could listen to you all day.
And we are running out of time. Lou has given us the sign. So where does somebody get tickets?
Yeah.
Oh, our website, VenturaMusicFestival.org, or you can call the office, which is 805-648-3146.
And what about businesses in the county who will be selling the tickets?
We don't sell through businesses.
Okay,
we have very strong connection with the business community, wonderful sponsors, but we do sell primarily on our website, VenturaMusicFestival.org, or through the phones.
Now you can buy for each individual concert. Can you buy a pass for the whole?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Or individually.
And we do a big education outreach program, so we do give many tickets away to disadvantaged or children from low-income families.
I was checking that out on your website.
That's
it's
great.
terrific.
Yeah,
so check that out, VenturaMusicFestival.org. And again, it's April 28th through May 7th. And what an amazing event. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having us, and we're happy to be in Camarillo this year.
Yeah, we're glad you guys are here.
Thank you.
We wanted to thank the folks from Hospice who are here to pump up their garden tour. And don't go away. We'll be right back. Jewel will be here to talk about public safety.